Hello everyone, this is part 5 on past year NEET questions from the topic solid state. We'll start with a question that has come in the year 1997. For two ionic solids, calcium oxide and potassium iodide, identify the wrong statement. So we have to identify which of them is the wrong statement. Okay. Now both calcium iodide as well as calcium oxide and potassium iodide, right? Both of them are what? Ionic solids. And we know that ionic solids, their melting points will be generally high in comparison to the other type of crystal structures. So if you see option A, what is it saying? Calcium oxide has high melting point. That's correct. Option C, potassium iodide has high melting point. That is also correct. Both calcium oxide will have high melting point. Potassium iodide will also have high melting point. And if you look at option B, that is a comparison between the calcium oxide and potassium iodide. It's saying what? Lattice energy of calcium oxide is much larger than potassium iodide. Now the lattice energy, right, will depend upon various factors, including the size of the anions and cations. So if the size of anions and cations is comparable, then lattice energy will be much higher than the cases where the size of the anions and cations is too different. So if you look at calcium and oxide ions, right, they will be of comparable size, whereas potassium and iodide ions, they will be of different sizes. So that is the reason why the lattice energy of calcium oxide will be much more than the lattice energy of potassium iodide. Whereas if you look at option D is saying what? So this is also correct. Option D is saying what? Potassium iodide is soluble in benzene. See, if ionic substances, they will be soluble in polar solvents like water, whereas benzene is a non-polar solvent. So potassium iodide will not be soluble in benzene. It is still an ionic compound. It will not be soluble in benzene. So the one that is incorrect, because we are looking for the wrong statement. So what will be the wrong statement? Option D is the wrong statement. Next we have a question that has come in the year 1997. The intermetallic compound LiAg crystallizes in a cubic lattice in which both lithium and silver have coordination number 8. So this is crystallizing in a cubic type of lattice where the lithium and silver, both of them are having a coordination number 8. The crystal class is, this is an intermetallic compound, it is not an ionic crystal. But if you think of it, right, if you see the cesium chloride type of an ionic crystal structure, what we'll be having, we'll have a cesium sitting at the body center and the chloride ions will be occupying the corner positions. So in this we can see each cesium will be surrounded by how many chloride ions? 8. Similarly, if you look at each chloride also, it will be surrounded by 8 cesium plus ions. So the coordination number in this case is what? 8. So though this is not an ionic, but the arrangement will be similar. So the arrangement is going to be what? Body centered cube type of arrangement. Let's look at the question that has come in the year 1996. This is a very basic question on the idea of FCC crystal. So the FCC crystal contains how many atoms in each unit cell? So what is an FCC crystal? Basically, we have atoms at the corner positions, and each corner, the contribution for the unit cell is what? 1 by 8. So 8 corner positions are there. 8 into 1 by 8, the contribution for the unit cell is 1. And we'll have atoms at the face centers. Each face center atom will be shared between 2 unit cells. So the contribution per unit cell will be half. There will be 6 face center positions. So total contribution of atoms per the unit cell from the face center locations is 3. So the overall count of atoms per unit cell will be equal to 4. That's what will indicate with the symbol Z. So for the FCC, right, what is the value of Z? Z will be equal to 4. For a BCC means it will be equal to 2. For a simple cubic or primitive, the value will be equal to simply 1, because simple cubic means what? The atoms will be only at the corner positions. Next we have a basic question that has come in the 1996. If we mix a pentavalent impurity means the group 15th elements, like we have arsenic or phosphorus, etc. Okay, if we mix a pentavalent impurity in a crystal lattice of germanium, what type of semiconductor formation will occur? If you look at normally germanium, right, it will have each germanium in the crystal structure bonded to 4 more germaniums. because the valency of germanium is 4. If we are doping small amount of the pentavalent impurity, means say for example we are using arsenic. Now arsenic will go and occupy the position of germanium, which means arsenic has to form 4 bonds. After forming 4 bonds, because the number of valence electron of arsenic is what, 5, means after forming 4 bonds it will still be having 1 electron. Now we can see, because of the formation of 4 bonds, the arsenic is able to meet the octet requirement, but it is having some extra electron. So this electron will be able to easily come out, and that's the reason why this type of doping, right, will have extra number of electrons than number of holes. In a pure germanium means number of electrons is equal to number of holes. Okay, but here when we are mixing a pentavalent impurity, pentavalent impurity means what? These 15th group elements. The number of electrons will be more than number of holes. So this type of semiconductor, we will call it as N-type semiconductor. So what is the correct answer for this? Option A is the correct answer. This straight question based on the density formula. So this has come in the year 1996. An element, they are not even saying what is the element, with atomic mass 100 gram per mole, having BCC structure, has a unit cell, edge length 400 picometer. What is the density? So what is the formula for the density? Density is equal to Z into the molar mass of the element divided by A cube into Avogadro number. It's the formula for the density of the substance. They are saying BCC structure, means Z is equal to what, 1, and molar mass is given to us, what is it, 100 gram per mole. Then what else is given? The cell edge length is given as what, 400 picometer. Means we can look at the edge length A in terms of centimeter, so that the density will be coming in gram per centimeter cube. So the A will be 400, in terms of centimeters it will be what, 1 picometer will be 10 power minus 10 centimeter, because what is 1 picometer? 10 power minus 12 meters. In otherwise, if you are expressing in terms of centimeter, means it will be 10 power minus 10 centimeter. So it will be what, 4 into 10 power minus 8 centimeters. So this is the edge length. Okay, now what we need to find? The A cube. A cube is the volume. Avogadro number, we will take it as what? Avogadro number will be 6.023 into 10 power 23. So we just have to substitute the value. So what will be the density? Z is 2 into molar mass is what, 100 gram per mole, divided by A cube. A cube means what? 4 into 10 power minus 8 centimeter whole cube into Avogadro number. What is Avogadro number? 6.023 into 10 power 23 per mole. So per mole is going to be getting cancelled. So finally, what is the unit we are going to have? We will be having gram per cc. So what is it? Numerator we can see it will be what, 200 grams divided by, this is what, 4 cube into 10 power minus 24 into 6.023 into 10 power 23. We will have a centimeter cube. So if we simplify this, right, it will be coming as approximately 5.188 gram per centimeter cube. So it's a straight question based upon the density formula. So what is the answer for this one? It is 5.188 gram per centimeter cube. So in this, the only things that we need to be careful about is what? Are we getting the correct value of Z? And are we careful about the conversion? Like here the generally, right, these edge length will be given either in the picometers or in the angstroms. So if we are looking for getting the density in gram per cc, means we should convert the edge length into centimeters. So that is the only thing we have to be careful about. Let's move on to the next question. This is another interesting question. This has come in the year 1994. The number of atoms in 100 grams of FCC crystal. So we need to find what number of atoms we have to find. We have to find number of atoms in 100 grams of FCC crystal with a density 10 gram per centimeter cube and cell edge length equal to 100 picometer. See, let's just look at how do we proceed in solving this question. What is the given information with us? Let's just write down the given information. So what is the given information? They are giving the mass. The total mass of the substance in our hand is what? 100 grams. Density is what? 10 gram per centimeter cube. And edge length is given as what? 100 picometer. Means in terms of, because since the density is in gram per centimeter cube, right? We will look at this in terms of centimeters. What is it going to be? 100 into 10 power minus 10 centimeter. Okay, now if we calculate the volume, what will be the volume? Edge length cube. It will be 100 into 10 power minus 10 centimeter whole cube. So this is 10 power minus 8 centimeter whole cube, which is what? 10 power minus 24 centimeter cube. This is the volume. Now how we are going to proceed is, if you look at what is the total mass available to us, what is the total mass available to us? 100 grams. Density is given as what? 10 gram per centimeter cube. Now from this, what we can find is, what is the total volume of the substance available to us? The total volume of substance available to us is what? The mass by density. So mass is what? 100 divided by density is what? 10 gram per cc. So the total volume in 100 grams of the element is what? 10 centimeter cube. And what is the volume of each unit cell? 10 power minus 24 centimeter cube. So each unit cell, the volume is 10 power minus 24 centimeter cube. What is the total volume of the substance we are having? 10 centimeter cube. So we can find out what is the number of unit cells present. How do you find the number of unit cells present? The total volume with us is 10 centimeter cube. Each unit cell is occupying, so it is like very simple, right? No? So each unit cell is occupying a volume of 10 power minus 24 centimeter cube. Total volume of the substance with us is what? 10 centimeter cube. So the number of unit cells is going to be what? 10 divided by 10 power minus 24, which will be 10 power 25. So the 10 power minus 24 will go to the numerator. It will become 10 power 24. So totally what is it? 1 into 10 power 25. This is the number of unit cells present. Now we got the number of unit cells, but what do we need to find in this question actually? We need to find the number of atoms. They are saying this is FCC. So what do you mean by FCC? If you look at FCC, each unit cell will contain how many atoms? 4 atoms. In a FCC, each unit cell is going to contain 4 atoms. So the number of unit cells with us is what? 10 power 25. So the total number of atoms present in 100 grams of the substance is what? 4 times of the number of unit cells, which is 4 times of 10 power 25, which is 4 into 10 power 25. So the correct answer for this is option C. So sometimes we can have questions like this also, which are a little bit different from the regular models. Otherwise, most of the questions in solid state, right, we'll see that they will be straight based upon the formula. Either we'll have questions on the density formula, I'm talking about the numericals. Either we'll have the questions on the density formula, or we'll have questions on the radius relations. Both the metallic lattice radius relations as well as the ionic lattice radius relations, or the density. These are the usual problems we'll have. Density formula, straight formula based question. But this is a little bit different question. Let's look at the next question. This is a question that has come in the year 1994. The ionic solids with Scotty defects contain in their structure. So what is Scotty defect? If you look at the basic idea of Scotty defect, right? So here, what must be their cation? Okay. So here, what must be their anion? And let's look at so this is a visual representation. So this is a position of anion and this is the position of cation. So equal number of the cations and anions, they miss from their lattice positions. That is what we will be calling as the Scotty defect. Okay, so as a result of Scotty defect, what is going to happen? The density of the substance is going to be decreasing. So if you look at the Scotty defect, right, it is going to be possible only in the case where the cations and anions are of almost similar size. Examples are what? Like sodium chloride, potassium chloride. So when the cation and anion are almost of similar size, right, we'll be having what? Scotty defects. So what is the correct answer for this? The Scotty defect, right, it happens because of equal number of cation and anion vacancies. Because when they miss out from the lattice positions, right, we'll call the position as what? Vacancy. So Scotty defect will happen or it contains equal number of cation and anion vacancies. Next we have a question that has come in the year 1993. The pure crystalline substance on being heated gradually forms a turbid liquid at a constant temperature, and still at high temperature the turbidity completely disappears. The behavior is characteristic of substance forming. So if you look at the situation that is explained, right, so pure crystal, if you are heating it, it is forming a turbid liquid, and the turbid liquid, right, is basically what we call as liquid crystals. And if you further heat it, right, the liquid crystals will disappear. Okay, so it will become like a liquid. So what are these liquid crystals? Liquid crystals are a state of matter which have the properties between those of the liquids and that of the crystals. like say they will flow, just like a liquid they will be able to flow. But the molecules, right, they may be having a particular orientation, just like they have orientation in case of the respective crystals. So the correct answer for this, right, this behavior is because of what? It is the characteristic of the liquid crystals. So liquid crystals, in that way they'll have properties intermediate to that of the liquids and crystals. We can see in the visualization over here, this is a microscopic view of how the liquid crystals will look like. Next we have another basic question on the formation of the semiconductors. This is a question that has come in the year 1993. On doping germanium metal with a little of what is this? Iron or gallium. So what are these elements? Okay, so boron, aluminum, gallium, indium, thallium. So these are all what? All these are the 13th group elements. So we also call them as what? Trivalent. We also call them as the trivalent because the valency will be equal to what? 3. They have only 3 valence electrons. Now we have to answer on doping germanium with either indium or gallium, what is the kind of semiconductor will form. So if you look at germanium, right, so germanium in its crystal, germanium will be forming 4 bonds with the neighboring germanium atoms. But if small or trace amount of the indium or gallium is introduced, let's say we will put a gallium. So the gallium will go and occupy the site of the germanium. But gallium has only 3 valence electrons, means only on 3 sites the gallium can form the bond. The 4th site it cannot form the bond. So thereby it leaves a electron deficit site, which we call as the hole. So normally in case of pure germanium, right, the number of electrons will be equal to number of holes. In semiconductors, the conductivity of current is because of both electrons and holes. In this case, because of the doping of the germanium with a small amount of indium or gallium, typically the trivalent elements, we will see that the number of holes, hole concentration will be more than the electron concentration. So generally how the holes and electrons are produced, if an electron from its original position goes out, then it leaves behind a hole. So that is what you call as the electron hole pair combination. So whatever the number of electrons coming out, we will have the same number of holes. But here you are creating extra number of holes because of the electron deficit site that is created as gallium is occupying the place of the germanium. So that is the reason why the number of holes will be more than number of electrons. So this type of semiconductor, right, we will be calling it as a p-type semiconductor, positive type. If instead we use a pentavalent, so pentavalent means what? The 15th group elements like arsenic, etc. Then we will see that in that case the number of electrons will be more than number of holes. We will call it as what? The negative type or n-type semiconductor. Let's look at next question. This is a question that has come in the year 1993. This is based on straight the fluoride structure. So in the fluoride structure, the coordination number of calcium 2+ ion is. So what is a fluoride structure? So fluoride structure is basically where we have the calcium ions occupying the CCP arrangement or FCC arrangement, and the fluoride ions will occupy all the tetrahedral voids. So remember, if we have the total number of lattice positions, the effective number of atoms of calcium in the unit cell, because it is forming FCC, will be equal to what? 4. Whereas F- is occupying all the tetrahedral voids. Number of tetrahedral voids will be equal to what? 2 times the number of atoms in a unit cell, which means the fluoride ions will be equal to what? 8. So what we see is that we will have the ratio of calcium to fluoride ions will be equal to what? 1:2. So what we see is each calcium or each calcium ion, right, will be surrounded by 8 F- ions, whereas each fluoride ion will be surrounded by only 4 calcium ions. So the coordination number of calcium will be 8, and coordination number of fluoride ion, if somebody is asking the question, means what will be the coordination number of fluoride ion? It will be only 4. So that is the difference between, if you look at the the equivalent type of ionic solids, right, like sodium chloride, etc., we will see that the cation coordination number will be equal to anion coordination number. Means whatever the cation coordination number, same will be the anion coordination number. But in case of the fluoride structure, it will be different. This is a fundamental question on the lattice types of lattices or the crystal structures. For the orthorhombic system, the axial ratios are A not equal to B not equal to C, means the the edge lengths are not equal, and the axial angles are, because every crystal system, right, is characterized by what? It is characterized by the axial ratios and axial angles. So we can see the orthorhombic, right, it will have A, B and C. They will be, the value of A will not be equal to value of B will not be equal to C, but the axial angles, right, alpha, beta, gamma, all the three will be equal to what? 90. So what is the correct answer for this? The axial angles will be what? All of them will be equal and equal to what? 90. So if you look at, we have totally how many types of crystal systems? We have 7 types. Cubic we have, then tetragonal, then orthorhombic, then monoclinic, then triclinic, hexagonal, and then trigonal or rhombohedral. So if you look at cubical, right, what is it? All the axial distance will be equal and the angles are equal to what? 90. The tetragonal means one of these axial distance will be different. Orthorhombic means all three will be different, but the angles will be what? Still 90 each. In this, right, the triclinic is the most asymmetric. All these axial ratios are different and the axial angles are also what? Different. So if you look at our lecture videos on the solid state chapter, right, you can find some easy mnemonics to remember these 7 types of crystal systems. How do we remember the axial distance as well as the axial angle combinations? You have some mnemonics over there. You can probably go and take a look at it. Next, we have a question that has come in the year 1991. Most crystals show good cleavage because their atoms, ions or molecules are. So why most of the crystals they show good cleavage? So if you look at most of the crystals, right, we'll talk about it. A 3D structure is created by the arrangement of 3D is created by the arrangement of 2D layers. So as we can see in the case of either the hexagonal close packing or cubic close packing or even simple cubic also, what we see is we'll have the 2D layers being arranged to form the 3D. So the reason why most of the crystals show good cleavage is because of the arrangement of the 3D in having a layered structure, or arrangement of the planes of 2D is what is the reason for the cleavage property of most of the crystals. So this is about the past year questions analysis on the solid state. We'll see in the next chapter.